it's me Chiku from Chiku Study Corner. Today we'll be dealing with the part 2 of the chapter Aldehydes, Ketones and Carboxylic Acids. This is a chapter of organic chemistry of class 12 CBSE. In the first part of this chapter, we discussed what generally we have to learn about aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids, and also we learned about their structure and also about their nomenclature. Now, in this session, we will be dealing with the preparation of what are aldehydes and ketones. So, in this session, we will be dealing with two kinds of preparation. That is, general preparation of aldehydes and ketones and specific preparations. General preparations in the sense, for example, it can be used to derive both aldehydes and ketones, whereas there are some specific reactions to which only aldehydes or to which only ketones are obtained. There are such reactions that we have to learn, and there are also named reactions. Each of the named reactions are important, so I'll tell you which all are the named reactions when we go further with the portions. So that time note that down because that is very important. So let's get into the preparation. So first we are dealing with general preparations. Okay, general preparations. So there are various methods, and the very first and the very basic is oxidation of alcohols. Okay, for oxidation of alcohol, there might be a confusion arising because when you oxidize alcohols, we have learned we will obtain only carboxylic acids. This is what we have learned in the previous lesson of maybe the first chapters of our organic chapter. That is when we took carboxylic acid, and what did we do? We did the reverse. We did reduction to obtain alcohols. In alcohols, phenols, and ether, we dealt with that. The same way, so how will alcohols oxidize and form aldehydes and ketones? As told, what aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids has a carbonyl group in common. Don't forget about it. This is our main, a person who plays a main role in this chapter. So, see, the oxidation of alcohols requires specific reagents, or they require specific catalysts to take forward the reaction. Because if the oxidation happens, the oxidation can happen up to an extent. If you reduce it to from the maximum to a particular amount, then you can stop at what aldehydes or ketones. For that, what all do we use? We use chromium oxide or PCC as our reagents. So, now alcohols, we know there are different types, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. So, if you take a primary alcohol, what is a primary alcohol example? CH3, CH2, OH. Okay, we are taking that. And let's take chromium oxide. What happens? This will get converted. So when this undergoes oxidation, let's write this in an expanded form, that is CH3, CH2 and O and H. Am I right? What happens? The H breaks, and what happens? The CH2, one amongst the CH2, what will happen? It will form a double bond. And then what is the outcome? What do we get actually? We get what? CH3, CHO. What is the CSO? CH3, C double bond O and H. This is what our compound is. So what do we conclude? We conclude that when a primary alcohol is oxidized in the presence of chromium oxide or PCC, we would get an aldehyde. What? This is an aldehyde. Okay. Now let's move on. For instance, I am taking a secondary alcohol. An example for a secondary alcohol: CH3, CHOH and CH3. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yeah. if this is our secondary alcohol, and then we are introducing what? PCC. Then what will happen? Here also the breakage of the bond, and then what happens? The formation of a double bond. So, in short, what will we get? CH3, C, CH3, double bond O. What is this? This is a ketone. I hope this is clear. So, this is the first method, oxidation of alcohols. So, what did we learn over here? The primary alcohol gets converted to an aldehyde when it undergoes oxidation in the presence of CrO3 or PCC. Whereas, when it comes to the case of a secondary alcohol, when it undergoes oxidation in the presence of CrO3 or PCC, it will form ketones. Is it clear? Now, the next process. This was our first general preparation. The next process is dehydrogenation. Dehydrogenation. What is this? This is the removal of hydrogen in the presence of a metal catalyst. Presence So what happens here is an alcohol vapor at elevated temperature is allowed to pass through a metal catalyst. What happens then? Then the formation of an aldehyde or a ketone takes place. So similarly, we learned there are different types of alcohols. So it will form aldehydes and ketones respectively. Let's see what is that. So what all are the metals that we know? We know a wide varieties of metals when we learn the periodic table. So we'll take copper, Cu2+. This is our star for this reaction. You can take any metal, I just took copper. Okay. So for dehydration, I am taking alcohol, CH3, CH2, OH. Okay, this is it is a primary alcohol. And I am introducing Cu2+, that's a metal catalyst. I told you what this is in the vapor form and what at elevated temperature. So at 573 Kelvin, what happens? This would get converted into an aldehyde. And what is this? This is a primary alcohol. So, this is a homework for you. Or else I show you aldehydes. So you can do it, you can try your own at home, and if you have any further doubts, please do comment in the comment box. So, this is an aldehyde. How will you write it? This would get split. And what happens? This would move here, and hence, so form is C double bond O, and then balance. Balance the valency. And this is our so form aldehyde. Okay. So now we took primary alcohol. Now let's see about the secondary alcohol. So I'm just changing into the secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol. What is this? This is in a vapor state. I told you it's in a vapor state. So we'll write CH3, C, okay, CH3 and OH and H. Okay. So what happens over here? We are introducing Cu2+ or any metal catalyst. You can take any metal catalyst, and for elevated temperature of 573 Kelvin, what happens? This will undergo dehydrogenation and will form a ketone. It will form a ketone. So what is a ketone so formed? Let's write. This will break, and what happens? This will move into. So how is it? CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Am I right? This is the ketone that we obtain. So in this session, what did we learn? That when you convert or when you perform dehydrogenation to a primary alcohol which is in the vapor state at an elevated temperature of 573 Kelvin in the presence of a metal catalyst, what happens? It will be converted into an aldehyde. when it is a secondary alcohol in the same conditions, that is in the presence of a metal catalyst at elevated temperature and the alcohol is in the vapor state. If it undergoes dehydrogenation, it will form a ketone. I hope this is clear to you. Now we have one more with the hydrocarbons. Let's see what is that. Actually, there are more. We will learn all of those. So the next method of preparation is from what? Hydrocarbons. If you are being precise, we are going to deal with ozonolysis. We have learned about ozonolysis in our last year. Do you remember? Ozonolysis. Sorry. So, ozonolysis can only happen to a compound where there is a double bond. Am I right? So, now what are we going to do? We are going to take hydrocarbons that have a double bond and then convert it to aldehydes and ketones. So, let's see. So, I'm just rubbing this so I get space on the board. So, ozonolysis. Okay. So, let's see. For instance, let's take a very simple compound. That is 1, 2, yeah, it's one more, CH2, CH2. Okay, this is our compound. Now we are taking it to undergo ozonolysis. What is the ozonolysis? What is ozonolysis? It is the addition of what? O3. What is O3? That is ozone. So we are adding O3. And what happens? We get a product in between our last, that is we get something in between our reactant and the required product. That the middle portion or the product that we get in between is called as an ozonoid. Ozonoid. Okay? So let's write the ozonoid for this. See, what we are doing is very simple. If this was a compound which was more lengthier and if the double bond comes over here in particular, what will happen? We will separate this compound as CH2 and CH2. This is our the product that comes in between. This is not our final product. So we are writing how CH2 and CH2. Now we are going to be creative. We are going to draw a house. So let's join the roofs. And on the roof you mark it O. That's an oxygen. And again you go to the bottom, add 2 O's. That is 2 more oxygen. And you close the house. Our house is done. This is an ozonide. This structure is called an ozonide. Okay? And this structure, what did we do? We have the CH2 and CH2. And what did we add? O3. O3. Do we have that O3? Now, in the next process, what we are doing is, we are adding water and zinc. What is it? Zinc and water. Okay. What happens? This will undergo ozonolysis and form our required compounds. See. Now, what happens is, this you have to split it like this. This oxygen would be left alone and you will make a bracket like this. Okay? These two are the compounds that we get. I will make it clear once more. CH2, CH2, O, 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 and this is our structure. I told you this will get split, no? So let's draw the splitting. This will get split and this will also get split. What happens over here? This bond with this oxygen will move down to this, between these both. The same case from here to here. So our obtained products would be now what? Let's see. So our obtained products, I'll write it over here. CH2, then what? It's a double bond O. So it's a double bond O. This is our product. On both the sides we get that. Plus CH2, double bond O. This is the product that we get. What is this? This is a ketone. Sorry, this is an aldehyde. Okay, what is this? This is an aldehyde. So now you saw how you prepare an aldehyde. That is, when you want an aldehyde or when you want a ketone, what should we look into? We have to consider what is our hydrocarbon that we take. So now I want an aldehyde and a ketone. So what will we do? Let's see. Let's choose the product accordingly. Okay, we choose the product accordingly. So I'm taking C double bond. See, this is anyway there in our compound. So I need a CH and a CH3. Okay, so 2, 3 and 4. This side is satisfied. Over here I have a CH3 and a CH3 CH2. Okay, this is our compound. What? This is our compound. I'm just writing the compound a little more smaller. So let's write it once more. CH3, CH2 and C double bond C, CH3, CH3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more H. Okay. This is our structure. So what are we doing? We are doing ozonolysis. By adding O3, we get an ozonoid. Let's draw the ozonoid. How is that? How did we draw it before? We drew C, CH3, CH2 and CH3. We split our compound from where the double bond was. So this is our one side. Am I right? Isn't this the one side? Is this same as what I've written here? Yes. And then the other side we are writing CH and CH3. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now let's be creative and draw our house. Yes, we finished. And then we are doing the process of ozonolysis by what? Adding zinc and H2O. That is our catalyst, or that is that is something that is important to carry out the reaction. So what would we get? Let's see what we'll get. Here, this bond would form another one over here and the same way over here. So what are the compounds that we get? What are the compounds that we get? I'm just rubbing this one so I can write the compounds above. So what are the compounds? Let's write C and let's make CH3 here. CH3, CH3, CH2 and what? A double bond. This is our compound. One compound, that is this compound. Now the other side. What is this? This is plus C double bond O H CH3. What is this? This is a ketone. This is a ketone. So this is our final product. This is our final product and this is a ketone. This is an aldehyde. I hope this is clear to you. This is a ketone and this is an aldehyde. You can name this aldehyde and ketone as homeworks so you can get familiar with the nomenclature. So this is what the preparation of ketone and aldehyde. Let's, if you want, I'll write this in a proper format. So CH3, C, CH2, CH3, double bond O. This is the first product. See, if you keep this reaction like this, CH2 and CH3. This is our reaction actually. See, the same thing I've written, and this is our aldehyde. These two are the products that we get. Okay. Now we'll do one more example under ozonolysis, and then we'll move on with the next method. So, let's see. Now we'll prepare two ketones. So C double bond C, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, CH3, CH2, CH3. Okay, this is our compound. So when it undergoes ozonolysis, what happens? We know. Now we don't have to write the ozonoid, and it's not compulsory, but we'll still do it so you can get a more experience, or you can get more familiar with how you do the ozonolysis. So let's write C, CH3, CH3, CH2 and C, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. our creative side of drawing a house. And what we are splitting these. Okay? So what happens? This will form a double bond. Let's write our reaction, our product over here itself. Okay? So what happens? This will form a double bond. This will also form a double bond. These are our two products that we get. That is what? We'll write it in a straight form. That is C double bond O, and what is this? CH3. This is CH2, CH3. This is one compound, and the second one is CH3, C double bond O, CH2, CH2, CH3. These are the compounds. I hope this is clear to you. What is ozonolysis? This is one method by which hydrocarbons are converted into what? Aldehydes and ketones. These are some of the general methods. Let's move on to the further methods, general methods of preparation. The second method of preparation by hydrocarbon is, that is we marked as B, that is with the help of alkynes. Okay, by alkynes. What do you do to the alkynes? You add water, H2O. You add water. Therefore, what is the process? Hydration of alkynes. So what are alkynes? Alkynes are hydrocarbons with a triple bond. What is a triple bond? 1 sigma bond and 2 pi bonds form a what? A triple bond. So let's see how will we prepare each of these. Okay. First, let's take a compound CH triple bond CH. Is this compound possible? Is it? Yes, you can. So this compound, what we are doing is we are adding water in the presence of a catalyst. The catalyst is a mixture of HgSO4 and H2SO4. What? Water is being added, hydration is being taken place. So we know what? When you add water, what happens is, I will show you. CH triple bond CH, we'll write plus HOH. Am I right? This hydrogen will break its bond. Okay? And what will happen? Here also one of the pi bond will break. Okay? And after breaking, what happens? One H will come here and the other OH will come here. Okay? So let's write that. So the product obtained over here would be CH double bond CH, H and OH. Okay? I hope this is clear. This is our product which comes in between. This undergoes tautomerization. What is it? Tautomerization. What is tautomerization? It is a change in the structure due to proton exchange. It's simply a change in structure. Okay? So let's see what happens over here. So from here the hydrogen breaks off. And what happens? This double bond would travel to this side. And hence what will it form? It will form a C double bond O. Okay? So what is the end product after tautomerization? That is, I am writing it over here. That is C double bond O, H. Okay? And where will this hydrogen go? This hydrogen will take its place over here. And H. See? This is our aldehyde. What is this? This is an aldehyde. So, in the same way, you can prepare what ketones also. So, for preparation of ketones, what should we look? What happened over here? Here, there was another group. Other than hydrogen, you could have replaced it with a CH3 and an H. you have to arrange your what? Your product, that is your not your product, sorry, your reactant, that is alkenes, according to which you will get your what? Your product. If you want what you say ketone, let's take for an example CH3 C triple bond C CH3. This is our compound, to which we add what? HOH. In the presence of, we know what is there, in the presence of HgSO4 and H2SO4. Okay, what will happen? This bond will break, and what will happen? This will also break, and this will come and attach over here, and this will come and attach over here. Okay, after these two get attached, the so formed product would look like CH3 C double bond C CH3. This will become OH. Sorry, this will become. Now I have drawn this as H, so I am mentioning H, and here it will become OH. It's according to you. You can place your H and OH anywhere you want, and this is what you get. And from here, what happens? Now tautomerization takes place. When tautomerization, I am just mentioning it as TT, it is tautomerization. So when that happens, what is tautomerization as told before? It is the exchange of protons to get a new structure. So what happens? This would break. Okay? Sorry, this would break. And this hydrogen, where will it go? This hydrogen will go to this carbon, and this double bond will come here. Okay? So what is the obtained product? Our final product. Our final product is CH3 C double bond O single bond C H CH3. What is this? Isn't this a ketone? The similar way, I told you, you can continue doing your examples. How would you, if you want a ketone, what should you do? You should accordingly arrange your hydrocarbon, that is your alkyne. You have to decide accordingly, and you will get your desired products. Okay? So now we have come to the end of what the general preparatory methods are. Now let's move on to the specific preparatory method. So the next one is specific. In the specific, we have to learn about two branches. Which are they? The named reactions, the preparation of aldehydes, and the second one is the preparation of ketones. These are important. These are named reactions mostly. And inside aldehydes, we have the preparation of aryl halides and acyl halides. Or we have the preparation of what? Cyclic or aromatic as well as the normal CC chains. Okay? In ketones also we will deal about it. So let's see the first method. So first we learn about specific named reactions for the preparation of aldehydes. So let's see. This method is from acid chlorides. Acid chloride. Okay. So over here what happens is we are adding hydrogen. Addition of hydrogen in the presence of what? Palladium sulfate in BaSO4. Okay, I'm just writing. I'll write it and write it neatly. So what is this? We'll write points. This is hydrogenation. Am I right? Hydrogenation. And what did we say? What is the catalyst? What is the catalyst used? We'll write catalyst is what? Palladium in barium sulfate. Okay. So let's write. For this, what we take is benzoyl chloride. Our starting, reactant. Our reactant is benzoyl chloride. So let's draw benzoyl chloride. C double bond O, Cl. To which what do? We add in hydrogen. Hydrogen is added in the presence of what? In the presence of palladium in BaSO4. Okay, this is what is happening. What should we get? We should get a aldehyde. Okay, we should get an aldehyde. So, we get an aldehyde. C double bond O, and what will come here? Hydrogen. In the place of Cl, hydrogen comes. Okay, this is the compound. In the place of Cl, hydrogen comes. Okay, I hope this is clear. And this reaction is called as what? Rosen-Mund reduction. What is this? This reaction is called as Rosen-Mund reduction. This is a very important named reaction. This is one of the important named reactions. Please remember. So now let's move on to the second one. Okay. Second one is from nitriles and what? Esters. So what is a nitride? Nitride is something that has a cyanate group. So let's write CH3, CH2, C triple bond N. This is our compound. So what should we write? Here what are we doing? We are introducing what? Hydrogen. We are breaking the bond and introducing it with hydrogen and oxygen. We are making a double bond O and an H. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay, our catalyst is SnCl2 plus HCl. What is it? SnCl2 plus HCl. And also they can use dibal H. Okay, any of those, either the combination of this or dibal H. Okay, so let's see. Now I am introducing SnCl2 and HCl. What happens is we get a product in between, that is called as an imide. Okay, an imide. What is it? It is an imide. So let's write the reaction over here. So you get an imide. What happens is this would break, this bond would break, and an H2 would be added here. So the so-called formed product would be, I'll write the whole reaction, CH3, CH2, C triple bond N. This will be SnCl2, HCl, and it will get converted to what happens? CH3, CH2, C double bond NH3. Okay? So this, what is this? This compound is imide. Imide. To this we are adding protonated water, H3O plus or H2O and H plus. That is protonated water. And what happens? Then it's very simple. We get our desired product. What should we need? We only prepare aldehydes, specific reactions for aldehydes. So let's see. CH3, CH2, C, what will we get? Double bond O and an H. OH is being added over here and NH3 is being removed, and hence what happens? Plus NH3 is evolved. Okay? So this is what we have to get. This is our aldehyde. And this reaction is called as, this is also a named reaction. This is Stephen's reaction. So, this is Stephen's reaction. I told you this can be done for both for nitriles as well as for esters. So, now let's try with an ester. So, what is an ester? We discussed in the first example in a similar way. Let's write the compound an ester. C, and let's make this CH3, CH2. Over here, let us make a double bond O and OCH3. If this is the compound, let's write this in a straight chain. That will be better. Okay. That is CH3, CH2, C, OCH3, okay. This is what our compound is. This is an ester. So, what do we require? We require an end product. It is not important to have the steps in between. So, it's easier for you to write. Here I am taking dival H. You can take SnCl2 and HCl. And just for convenience, I am writing dival H. I'm sorry. Dival H. That is our first one. Secondly, we add H3O plus protonated water. And what do we get as end product? We get a OH group attached over here. Okay? Or an H group. Sorry, an H group attached over here. So let's write the aldehyde. So this is CH3, CH2, C double bond O and H. This is our end product. This is an aldehyde. You can name this on your own. This would be an experience tackling the nomenclatures. So, this is an aldehyde. This preparation is called Stephen's Stephen's reaction. Okay. Now, we are moving on to a few preparations of aromatic aldehydes. For that, we are going to learn a named reaction called as Itard's reaction. So let's see what Itard's reaction is. So Itard's reagent, before we getting into this, why do we learn some specific reactions? Because direct oxidation would give only carboxylic acid. So as to do controlled oxidation, we use specific reagents. The first one is Itard's reaction, and let's see how you do it. So these reactions which we are going to further discuss is for the preparation of aromatic aldehydes. Okay, so Itard's reagent. Here our starting compound is toluene. Okay, we take in toluene and we add, what is this? Chromyl chloride. Or what is this? Chromyl chloride. CrO2Cl in the presence of, what is this? This is carbon disulfide. Okay, in the presence of carbon disulfide, we get a product or a substituent in between. This is called as chromium complex. Okay, this chromium complex is then hydrolyzed, that is H3O plus is introduced, and then we get our desired compound. What is that? An aromatic aldehyde. See, this is our aromatic aldehyde. So, this is Itard's reagent. Itard's reagent. It is an important named reaction. So, the next one is using acid anhydride at a temperature of 273 to 283 Kelvin. This is the next reaction. Over here also we have some special reagents that we use. The starting material here is also what? A toluene, a benzene ring with a CH3 substituent on it. That is treated with chromium oxide and CH3CO twice O. This compounds. These two, this is, what is this? This is called the acid anhydride. I hope this is clear. So as told, this has to be taken place in a particular temperature, that is 273 to 283 Kelvin. What happens? We get a complex in between. That complex is called as benzalidene chloride. Okay, so this is the structure. a benzene ring with CH, and in the bracket we have O2CH3 twice. Okay, this is our complex. This undergoes hydrolysis and forms our last product or our final product, that is what? An aromatic aldehyde. What is that? A CHO. Okay, an aromatic ring with a CHO. So this is one more. We have a few more reactions, and then we will move on to the preparation of ketones. Okay. So let's see what all are the rest of them. The next one is the side chain chlorination followed by hydrolysis. So let's see what is that. Here also we take in toluene. Okay, toluene. And what happens? We introduce our HNO. What is HNO? HNO is our catalyst over here, and that is light. HNO is light. Okay, I hope this is clear. So, when chlorination is done in the presence of light, that is introduction of chlorine Cl2 in the presence of HNO, we will get benzyl chloride. What do we get? A benzyl chloride. Okay, this benzyl chloride at a temperature of 373 Kelvin, what happens? It is being protonated, introducing protonated water. So what happens? We get our final product, that is our CHO, which is attached to a benzene ring, an aromatic aldehyde. Okay, I hope it is clear. It is clear here. So the next reaction is also a named reaction, and that is important. Gattermann-Koch reaction. What is this? Gattermann-Koch reaction. So in this reaction, you can either use benzene or benzene derivatives. So what happens is, this is simple. This only thing you have to remember is which all are the possible catalysts that you can use. That is, you can use carbon monoxide, HCl, anhydrous AlCl3 or anhydrous CuCl3. Okay, any of these can be used, and we will get our product, that is our aromatic aldehyde. So these are the reactions that we have to learn for the preparations of aromatic aldehydes, and hence we completed the specific reactions for the preparation of aldehydes. Now we will move on to the preparations of ketones. So let's see what are the preparations of ketones, methods of preparations of ketones. So specific methods to prepare what are ketones. Okay, so let's see. The first one is acyl chlorides. Okay, so what happens over here is we are introducing, or first one is we are reacting, the reaction between acyl chloride and dialkyl cadmium. So, what is this? It's a reaction between acyl chloride and dialkyl cadmium. So, first what should we do? We want these both compounds. Dialkyl cadmium is what we have to prepare first. So, let's prepare dialkyl cadmium. For that, what we are introducing is our Grignard's reagent. What is the formula for Grignard's reagent? Let's write. Grignard's reagent. That is RMgX. I'm just giving you a general formula. Okay, general formula. This, what is an R? R is any of the alkyl group, and X is any of our what? Any of the halogen groups. Okay, so to this what we are introducing is cadmium chloride. Okay, we introduce cadmium chloride, and hence we get our desired product. What is that? Dialkyl cadmium. We get our dialkyl cadmium. So I'll write our what desired product, that is what? Dialkyl cadmium, R2CD. Okay. Now what should we do? We have to react them between what? Acyl chloride and dialkyl cadmium. So acyl chloride, this is a general equation. So acyl chloride, CH3, CH2, C double bond O, Cl. This is our acyl chloride. Okay. So this what we are doing? We are adding our dialkyl cadmium, and then we are reacting this. So when you react this, what will you get? We get our product. What do we need? We need a ketone. So what happens? A ketone comes. That is CH3. For instance, I'm just taking this, okay? And I gave it as R itself, any alkyl group according to your interest. This can also be any R, okay? This can also be any R. So let's take this both common. So this is R dash and this is R. If this is two different alkyl groups. For instance, I'm just telling you, then you can write R dash C double bond O R. Okay? And what would we get? We would get our CdCl2 that we obtained before. That we used before in our reaction. So nothing is being wasted. See, this is our ketone. This is the first preparation. The preparation with the help of acyl chlorides. So next one is, as learned before, we are using what? Nitriles and esters for the preparation of ketones. So let's see. For this reaction, what all do we need? So first one, we are writing it. What is this? This is using nitriles. Okay. For this, we are using our reagent as what? Aromatic Grignard's reagent. That is RMgX is equal to an aromatic ring with an MgX. Did you get me? This is what we are taking. So let's further proceed with the reaction. So what we are doing is, we are taking our nitrile, for example CH3, CH2, C triple bond N, and we are introducing our reagent, that is aromatic MgBr. Let's take MgBr. Okay, MgBr. This is what we have taken, and then we have to carry forward the reaction in the presence of dry ether. In the presence of dry ether. Now what would happen? Here, this double bond would break. This double bond would break, and also what happens? This can be written like this, no? C6H5 MgBr. Am I right? This will also break. What will usually happen? There would be what? They will go and attach to either of a carbon and a nitrogen, and there would be a formation of a new compound, a compound in between. So we'll write, that is CH3, CH2, C double bond N, C6H5, and what happens? Here comes our MgBr and this goes to here. So this is C6H5 and NMgBr. Okay, this is our compound that we get. This compound, what happens is, this compound we obtain, no? I'm just writing it over here. CH3, CH2, C double bond N, MgBr, and over here we have C6H5. This undergoes hydrolysis. This undergoes what? Hydrolysis. Okay? So we are undertaking hydrolysis. H3O plus. What will happen? This will move, and what will come in place of double bond N MgBr? We will get double bond O over there. So let's write that. CH3, CH2, C double bond O, and C6H5. This is our compound. I hope this is clear. This is the preparation by nitriles. And we have one more method, that is, we have learned in our previous year in 11th standard. What is that? It's a Friedel-Crafts reagent. That's also a named reagent, the reaction. So let's see that. Friedel-Crafts acylation, not alkylation, Friedel-Crafts acylation. So let's see this reaction. So let's see what Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction is. Okay, the reaction is given below. That is, we take a benzene. We've taken a benzene to which we add in a what? What is R/AR? I just meant what this can be alkyl group or an aromatic chain which is attached to what? A C double bond O Cl. Okay, this is treated with anhydrous AlCl3 and we obtain our what? Our ketone. That is a benzene ring with a ketone functional group. This is either R or it can be AR, any of those. So this is an example, or this way you can form your own reactions. I have given you the general equations. So like you can replace the R or AR with whichever alkyl groups or aryl groups you know. So this is all about the preparations of ketones and aldehydes. Now we will be moving into the physical properties. Okay. Physical properties. So, first thing that we have to talk about is HCHO. What is this? What is this? This is our what? The first are the basic what? Aldehyde. That is formaldehyde. And we know that this is gaseous in room temperature. What is it? It is gaseous in room temperature. Okay? And the next one is what? CH3CHO. This is ethanol. Ethanol is a volatile liquid in room temperature. It's a volatile liquid in room temperature. And we have heard about something called as formalin. Formalin. What is formalin? Formalin is 40% of what? Our formaldehyde. Our formaldehyde solution. Why is this used? This is used in our laboratory. If you are a bio student, you have seen your specimens in some kind of a liquid. That liquid is called as formalin and this is used to preserve specimens or dead bodies. Okay? And the next one is, we all know that all the other aldehydes and ketones are liquids in room temperature. All the other aldehydes and ketones are mostly in room temperature. They are mostly in liquid state. The boiling points of these aldehydes and ketones are comparatively higher than what are normal hydrocarbons with a comparable molar mass. So what? Higher boiling point when compared with hydrocarbons with what? Comparable molar mass. Okay? The next thing is about the solubility. The lower members, the smaller members are miscible in water. Whereas as the length of the chain increases, they doesn't happen. They don't mix well with water. So let's see why. Actually, when you look at the boiling point and all, we can see alcohols has a higher boiling point than that of ketones and carboxylic acids. That is because alcohols have a capacity or a property of what? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So intramolecular hydrogen bonding and intermolecular hydrogen bonding. When it comes to aldehydes and ketones, Only when these are introduced or reacted with water, they form hydrogen bonds. And hence it's easier to break, and that is why alcohols have a higher boiling point when compared with alcohols alone. Okay? So this is to talk about the physical properties. There's one more property, that is about the odor, the smell. Odor. The smell of the smaller chain is very pungent. So the first members have a pungent smell. Pungent smell. Whereas when it comes to a longer chain, as the chain length increases, what happens? As chain length increases, it turns into a pleasant smell, a pleasant fruity smell. So, one example. I'll talk about one example. Vanillin aldehyde. You can relate this. Vanillin is used for the preparation of vanilla. And this vanillin is obtained from a plant, which is a genus of an orchid. It is from a kind of an orchid. Okay? Extracted from a kind of orchid. This is all about the physical properties of aldehydes and ketones. So we'll continue with the chemical properties in the next